And we are coming off of a huge victory against the Minnesota Vikings that pumped a little bit of energy into this team as we are now third in the division. As a really solid victory, not the best performance from Watson, but that was more of my fault than it was Watson's. So we are in our first year here. Let's import the 2021 draft class. I'm not really big on scouting, but I will do it. I'll probably put it on auto, honestly. But if you guys want to see scouting, let me know. As Brandon Cooks' debut against the Jacksonville Jaguars is official. As we need to see a couple more big games. We'll sign all these guys to extensions at the end of the season, as I feel like mid-season extensions are not really well, because you don't know what could happen. What if you sign a guy on week 15 and week 16 he tears his ACL and it's never the same again? So Brandon Cook is back. We're playing the Jaguars. This should be a walk-away, but I wouldn't be, you can't be too overconfident. Like, Jacksonville should be a very easy victory, but you never know, especially with this team this year. So, Brandon Cooks is back in his debut. We should really enjoy that a lot, I think. As Watson, we're not going to run the ball at all today because Watson's stats need padding, and why not do that against one of the worst teams? Wait, did I pick all offense? Whoops. I'll change that after. So, Watson running back, looking back, as nobody throws it away, and not the best start for this game. So let me actually change this now to play full game, as the Texans Fells trucks him. 23-yard gain by Fells. As Watson fit it right in there in a great pass, great attempt. Fells has really been the offensive MVP this year. Brandon Cooks, his first reception as a Texan, goes for 25 or 6, I think. Yeah, 26. Wow. As the Texans and a really bad pass, but they were all over him. As Watson, man, the offensive line hasn't been great today. Watson, he's going to run. He's going somewhere. Runs out of bounds before he can get hit in a run of 14 to put him ahead of the first down line and into the red zone. So, Deshaun Watson really needs a turnaround game here, and I hope that this is the game where he does turn around his season, because it hasn't been the best. And, oh God, a really shaky one, and it's intercepted! All me again, man. And a big interception by Jacksonville. I pressed the wrong button there. I meant to pass it to the tight end, but that's my fault, man. Shit. And in a stat padding game has turned into another red zone interception for the Texans offense. As the Jaguars making some big progress here as they're looking for their first win, so they're a little bit more hungry than other teams. As Watkins, oh man, nobody on that side of the field. As Chris Thompson gets a 15-yard gain as Jacksonville storming across the field. And if this Texans team loses to Jacksonville, I would not be shocked if Bill O'Brien sees the axe after this one. And oh man, James! That's not James Robinson, that's Chris Thompson, because he's like a 60 in this. But Chris Thompson with a huge, as the run defense has been horrible so far. As, of course, Lambeau nails it. And that big interception shows costly for the Texans in this game. So won. As 7-0 here, as Cobb is going to take a knee. And Watson throws it away as nobody, maybe 20 yards back. Offensive line has been collapsing. Maybe they thought that this was going to be a walk in the park, as obviously it has been not. Brandon Cooks is there, gets the 15-yard gain. As Johnson Jr. nowhere actually loses a yard on the play. And has somebody. Oh! Had a guy wide open, but it was a crossbody, and Watson did not have that arm strength, especially on that one. And what looked to be a walk in the park for the Texans now looks like a loss for the Texans, honestly, at this rate. And Brandon Cooks just decides not to block. Wow. As they give it to Johnson again for a 6-yard gain. As Watson gonna hit 100 yards on his next completion. Finds Stills gets the first down as they march into the red zone again, but this red zone offense obviously has been a weak point for this Texans team, as they have turnover after turnover after turnover. The offensive line always collapses, and Watson is forced to chuck it into the air as Kenny Stills forces it in there as nobody home. Watson, 1-yard gain. Kenny Stills with the touchdown. As the Texans tie it up, as Kawan Short, the early season acquisition here by the Texans, has not shown to be very impactful, as they traded Whitney Merciless for him to bolster up the defensive line, as they were applying no pressure, and they still really aren't. I mean, they applied really good pressure last week, but this week they're not. And especially week 2 they didn't. They got demolished week 2. And week 3 against the Steelers. Which was a very winnable game, but both quarterbacks, McCarron, who saw the half of playing time because Watson was doing so poorly, it just didn't end up working out for, oh, and a flag is on the play. Holding on the offense, as 1st and 18 takes place here by the Jacksonville, as a costly holding call puts them back big time. And wow, Thompson pancake there by Zach Cunningham, who has been the overall team MVP and the defensive MVP this year. This guy is always getting to the runner, getting to the wide receivers. Him and McKinney have been so solid this week, and McKinney just gets his tackle broken in half there as Levi Wallace, another acquisition. I believe they traded, who the hell did they trade? Hold on, let me I think it was Roby. Yeah, it was Bradley Roby that they traded for. That they traded for Levi Wallace, who was a younger and pretty much as good as Roby was doing. He wasn't really doing anything. They did that to bolster up the secondary, and well, I mean, it's worked better than expected, I guess. The secondary has not been good, and, you know, they knew that it wasn't going to get better with Levi Wallace. They just did that because it's a younger option with the same amount of talent on, I believe, a multi-year deal. So, and I believe Roby was a free agent. So, Jacksonville punted away after a strong performance by the Texans. Defense is sacked! Watson just stood there. Josh Allen all over him. And wow, Texans. Cooks, oh, hit as he caught it. And a really poor performance by the Texans offensive line so far today. And Atkins, a key contributor for the Texans' offense, is on an injury timeout here. That's not good. As Amber punts it away. And a quick 4-and-out. And oh man, Cunningham lays the hit on Jacksonville. As Jacksonville gets the ball at the 44. Not good. Uh-oh. Possession catch. I believe that was... Oh, no! Ejiofor. And Atkins is out for the game. And Ejiofor might be out for the game. We never know. Pick! Oh! No call! Are you kidding me? That was an interception. And a dislocated shoulder for the right outside linebacker, Ejiofor, as he will miss a lot of weeks with that. That is never good. And the interception snagged away as the refs made sure that wasn't happening. As no matter what, the Texans get to the running back, Thompson, and they stop them from getting the 3rd and 2 conversion, as it will be Texans ball here as soon as the punt is up by Cook. And the punt, a good one. Cobb goes nowhere. He's at the 13 now. As let's hope that the offensive line can hold off a little bit of pressure for a little bit longer. As the offensive line definitely looks to be an improvement point for... Had triangle wide open, but Watson's going to take it. I guess he thought that there might have been some bait there and he couldn't get it. But it doesn't matter. Cooks! Oh! Dropped it! Cooks with the costly drop. And the incompletion as, oh my god. Just another poor performance here by the Texans today. The offensive line, once again, does not show any improvement. It's a fake. They give it to the fullback. The fullback got over the first, got a yard more and a first down as the Texans convert. As we've seen that play a lot from them. I guess they do that on short 4th down conversions. And it doesn't work all the time. They need to stop it. Oh! Ngakoue was right there. as Watson. Flag on the play. I believe it was roughing the passer. Yep. As it's roughing and passer, and they're going to accept it, put him up to the 49. As we've only seen one run today. Two, actually. One by Watson. Oh, and a fumble! Picked up! As the 2-minute warning picked up by the lineman, Watson fumbled, the forced fumble there by Ngakwe. And uh-oh, Will Fuller here. Will Fuller had it! He dropped it. And wow. Fells! He held on to it. 4th and 1. Oh. As I believe that they're going for it. Give it off to the fullback. He definitely got it. An 8-yard rush by the fullback. As Watson here, time running out on the clock for the half. He's going to throw it away. Pressure all over him. As this offensive line has been a travesty so far for Houston, getting demolished here by the Jacksonville defense. Oh, Cook dropped. Brandon Cook just refuses to catch a ball today. Don't know what that's about. I guess because it's his first game back. It's the only thing I can think of. Kenny Stills with the cut. As the Texans use their first timeout. And Atkins, I believe that Watson got out. Not sure. He did. Fells! No attempt! Almost another interception as Fells would have been released or something. And Will Fuller here on a motion. No. That one wasn't even me, man. If he would have just thrown that a little bit higher, which I told him to lob it, maybe it would be 14-7 here, but that one was all Watson as Watson. Man. Another red zone turnover for the Texans today, as they just refuse to get points in the red zone. It makes no logic to me. Watson is having a terrible year. The fans, I heard they don't want him. We might even have to move him if he doesn't improve this play. He definitely has weapons. Now, sure, they've been dropping it a lot today. They've been very inconsistent, but still, we might either A, have to trade Watson or trade the pieces around him to get better and bigger pieces here, as Justin Reed gets him out of bounds in a huge run by Ozigbo. 58 yards, man, as I wasn't even focused on that. And all right, let's get back into commentary mode here as Thompson gets a first down, and I believe more, as the Jacksonville Jaguars are stomping all over this defense right now on their first drive of the second half. And Bill O'Brien knows that his job is basically over here in Texas. And a huge catch for only 3 yards. Had many yards and room, plenty of space to get the touchdown there. Don't know what happened, but I believe that was Eifert. Up the middle, nobody home, as Ozigbo gets his first career touchdown. As 14-7, Jacksonville takes a lead here. And something I've been informed that they're going to have, the Texans are going to have a huge, and I mean a huge trade deadline here. And we're going to be live coverage all over it, as that is in 2 weeks. This might actually be a double header, honestly. If I can fit 2 games in, matters how long this one runs, as another multi-interception game by Deshaun Watson. I believe week 1 was the only time he did not throw an interception this season, which is not very good. We're on week 5 now. He's got to take the turnovers into his control. A lot of bad passes, bad decisions, bad play calling, bad offensive linemanship. The Texans are a bad team so far. Let's be honest. If the Texans do get rid of Watson, should they receive a premium package, or should they trade their wide receivers for a premium package, as Kenny Stills wide open? And a huge catch. R1, nobody home. Once again, they've only ran the ball twice here today. Once with Watson, or I think Watson ran a couple of times. Kenny Stills wide open down the field in the ankle trip. Is he okay? He's running really slow today. Usually he's a lot faster. Think he might have sprained something and is hiding it from the medical team. Not sure though. As Fells gets it. Oh, and he's at the 1. Who's that? Cooks? Nowhere. Passed it. Thomas! Touchdown! As Chicago demolishes Tampa here, as Tom Brady not looking too good in this simulation, as all over it. Ozigbo has had some really nice flashes today. The Jaguars should probably use him as a piece. He's been really decent and solid. But the Texans defense is not one to brag that you demolished. So Minshew 6 for 7, only 1 incompletion on the night, or the day I should say, as Jacksonville, man, just not looking. Oh, and all over him, this rush defense, not having the worst second half. Definitely one of their better this season. Scarlett could have got him. Offensive lineman Eifert, he's not offensive lineman, but pushed him back a couple of yards, and they got all over him, swarmed him. As that might have been offsides there. Oh, gets all over him. It's Hargraves. Hargraves the third. Sacks him. As the offseason acquisition for Houston, the unsuccessful cornerback drafted, I believe, 12th by Tampa, looking to revive his career, and that play surely looked solid as the Texans are beating the Bills by 1 point. Down there is Cobb. Cobb tried to truck him, nobody home though for that, as the Texans have a chance to get a fourth quarter lead here. That's a great defensive effort there by the Texans, as the Jags have not looked bad today, but once again, you got to realize this is the Texans we're talking about. A Bill O'Brien Texans. And if he wins this game, I think that he'll keep his job, but if he doesn't, then, well, he might not keep his job. We'll just say that. As the Texans here oh man, a big hit there by number 56 Williams on the Jags D. Bill O'Brien cheering on Watson here, as this is his game to shine. They've ditched the run game today, as they said they were in the postseason. This was supposed to be a pad stat game for Watson, and it has not been that, as he's had another multi-interception game. But Watson here throws a check down for the first down. 5 minutes left on the clock here, as the Texans 14, Jacksonville 14, as they pass it off to Johnson, hands it off to Johnson, and he gets a couple of broken tackles, and David Johnson is injured, ladies and gentlemen, holding his hip. That's never good. Never want to see that. And Brandon Cooks has not been anything special at all. He had 2 catches. Brendan Fells should have jumped, decided not to for some reason. 3rd and 7 here. Offensive line collapsing. Playoff chances collapsing. Man, and he's sacked. Josh Allen, as the offensive line collapses again. David Johnson broke his femur. Out for the year. And the big playmaker, off of one bad run, gets another season-ending injury. And a huge hit by Duke Johnson Jr. in revenge. I don't think that was Duke Johnson Jr., but it was a Johnson Jr. As a 4 and out, as the Texans are now really pissed off that David Johnson will be missing the season with a broken femur, as all over him is Hargraves. Has been a really good run stop today. As, oh man, the big mistake there. And a huge gain by Jacksonville, as Levi Wallace says D.D. Westbrook is now holding his ankle. And that's not good. Never want to see that for either team. And a check down pass to Eifert. Eifert gets a couple of yards, 5 to be exact. And man, are the Texans pissed off, as they have been getting outplayed today in Jacksonville, or Texas, I believe. Yeah, as Minshew only 1 incompletion so far on the day, as the Jacksonville offense storming down the field, as I'm guessing they have the Texans are too focused on David Johnson to focus on the game right now. As Eifert injured now. Now it's Eifert. First it was D.D., then it was Eifert. As Houston. And a big hit by Cunningham. Or McKinney. That was McKinney, not Cunningham. Cunningham is 41, I think. McKinney is 55. A big hit by that middle linebacker core, which has definitely has to be one of the best in the NFL. And oh boy, blown coverage by Levi Wallace gets him into the red zone. As we approach the 2-minute warning here, all it takes is a touchdown, and this game might be over here, as Jacksonville might pull off a massive upset against the Houston Texans. Oh boy, could you imagine if the Texans go 1-4? As nobody on Thompson! Nobody to be seen! As a second rushing touchdown by Thompson today. Lambeau kicks it in. We might be going to overtime if the Texans offense can recoup from the injury of David Johnson. It's kind of a good thing, though. Now, hear me out, that they got that while they did with only 3 seconds after the 2-minute warning here, as they give a lot of times for the Texans to score down the field. And Watson might have got out of bounds. I don't know if he did. They're saying he did. As man, oh man, Jacksonville might walk out of here with their first victory. And oh, a horrible pass. A possible game-changing pass there by Watson, overthrown. Cooks, no, dropped. Cooks dropped it for the first down and more. Oh man, Cooks has been horrible today. Another dropped pass by Cooks. Wait a minute, Kenny Stills gets it. Puts him on the good right side of the field. As Watson only gets 4 yards but gets it out of bounds. I think that was the intended purpose of that, just to get the ball out of bounds. And man, oh man. No! 44 had an interception to end it, but did not. Wait a minute, Duke Johnson Jr. dropped! Duke Johnson Jr. dropped it! Oh my God! Duke Johnson Jr. just dropped that ball. And picked off. It's over. It's over. Watson has another 3-interception game here, as Jacksonville is going to walk out of here 1-4. Same with the Texans. And a easy stomper has turned into a shocking upset by the Jacksonville Jaguars as they came to play. The Texans' offensive line did not. As we are going to sim to the end of the game, and 21-14. Jacksonville pulling off a huge upset. Kenny Stills played amazing. Brandon Cooks looking at another possible trade for him, another situation change, and his first game back. And just a atrocious performance here. As you know what, we're just going to sim to the trade deadline here and blow it off. Man, what a awful performance there. Watson did not play well. Brandon Cooks played awful. As you know, David Johnson is out for the year. And we're going to sim to week 8 here on our bye week, as we lose to the Titans, as we are officially tanking, I believe. And we lose to the Packers as we fall 1-6. It is the trade deadline. I'm going to go take a shit and we're going to do a new episode. Bye-bye.